I think so often in life we are so driven by this word success. We are so driven by the materialistic possessions that we feel are important in this life to make us look bigger and better than other people. We think that success is about the fancy house we live in, how nice the car is we drive, how fancy the clothes are that we wear. But I truly believe that success is about getting out of bed every single day and knowing in your heart that you can make a difference in somebody else's life. I just want you to step out of your own shoes and look at life through someone else's eyes. I love that saying, I cried when I didn't get a new pair of shoes until I saw a boy that had no feet. Sometimes it's a powerful exercise when you compare your adversities, your challenges, your pain and your suffering to others for you to realize how lucky you are to have what you have. I think that when we can shift that, it shifts our mindset and allows us to look at life so differently. It allows us to achieve greater things. It allows us to look at our problems and our challenges with such a greater light on them, which assists us and gives us the ability to deal with those problems and those pains and those challenges. Until one day I had this dream and this vision that it is not the adversity in your life that defines you. It's really about how you deal with your adversity that allows you to live a remarkable life. No doubt everybody in this room has a story to tell. Everybody has pain and suffering. But it's the people that deal with their adversities in a manner of living above the line and maybe being a navigator or an optimist as opposed to a pessimist that allows them to achieve greatness. But as you all know, life is like a roller coaster. You can get to a pinnacle point in your life and it can get taken away from you in a heartbeat. Sadly, in today's society, we wait for that phone call. We wait for that diagnosis before we decide to change our lives and live the life that we're meant to live. Because for me, for a long time, I always thought the more you give, the more you shall receive. How often do you hear it? I'll grab you a coffee today, can you grab me one tomorrow? Or can you grab me a coffee today, I'll grab you one tomorrow. If I buy you lunch today, I'm not going to bring lunch tomorrow because I know you're going to bring me lunch tomorrow. But you imagine if I bought you lunch today and then you bought her lunch tomorrow and then you bought him lunch tomorrow and this big domino effect happens where everybody was doing something for everybody else as opposed to doing something for themselves. I realise that saying, the more you give, the more you shall receive, should be the more you give expecting nothing in return, the more you shall receive. And it's not about the materialistic possessions that we give, but it's about the passion and the purpose in why we give it that truly determines the outcome of our giving. And some days we struggle to think that we deserve to live an amazing life. We challenge ourselves to think, are we worthy? Of course we are. We live in a world that is filled with first world problems, and we allow them to consume us. How often do we complain about traffic? How often do we complain that we have no reception on our phones? How often do we complain because the planes are delayed? You are about to get in a very, very heavy steel cigar and fly through the sky and you're complaining because it's delayed. When we put our first world problems into perspective, it's amazing what we can achieve in life. One of the greatest gifts and one of the greatest sayings that I've ever heard in my life is this one. Your head needs to be where your body's at. Too often in life, we are so focused or we are so fearful of what might be tomorrow. We are so regretful of what could have been yesterday, we forget to focus on what is. In today's society, we are no longer present. We are so focused on delivering outcomes that we forget to focus on just living our lives. Google says we look at our phones more than 600 times a day. How can we be focused on the present when we're constantly focused on our phones? When we shift our perspective, when we shift our mindset, it's incredible what we can achieve. And I'm not talking about in the corporate space. I don't care about what you do in your work life. I care about what sort of human being that you will become. Life, in my opinion, is about being a great dad, about being a great son, a great wife, a great daughter, a great partner, a great friend. It's not about making money. It's not about the power and the privileges. It's about the love and the happiness. I love the analogy about the father who has twin boys. One boy is a navigator, one boy is a victim. The victim boy, he opens up his Santa sack, and the first thing he opens is a brand new Nintendo 64. And he goes, "Oh, Dad, I wanted an Xbox." Then he opens his next present, and it's a brand new mountain bike, fluoro green. And he says, "Oh, Dad, I wanted the black bike. I didn't want the green bike." That's the pessimist or the victim. The other guy over here, he's a navigator. He's in control of his life. He loves every single day. He opens his Santa sack up and it's full of horse poo. And he starts digging into the horse poo and poo's going everywhere and he's so excited. He's getting further and further down. And his father says, "What are you doing?" And he says, Dad, there's got to be a pony in here somewhere. It's about how we look at our adversities, not what our adversities are, that truly determine the quality of life that we get to live. And if we refer back to disabilities, down the bottom with a mindset of a victim, we just see the person's disability. But when we are above the line, when we are a navigator, all we focus on is the ability that they have. I don't know whether anybody's heard the Johnny the Bagger story, but that guy is phenomenal. He was a Down syndrome guy, and he got a job volunteering to put food into a bag at a grocery store. That was all his job was. And then he started writing little messages in every single person's bag, what he thought of the day. And it was all positive praises. That supermarket increased its profits within 90 days by more than 300%. Because everyone started talking about Johnny the Bagger and the impact that he was having on their life. You think about your life and how challenging it is, then you go to a grocery store and you see this kid who's really struggling and he's got a big smile on his face and he gives you praise and he gives you positive feedback, shifts your mindset. When we find people's ability as opposed to focusing on their disability, it's an amazing, amazing outcome.